Hey, Mike Loster here. Real quick, we're going to run through a quick update of what's going on in the library space, because I know I'm tired of talking about libraries too, but the Lord said we're going to be talking about libraries for a minute. So here we are. There's 3 different things going on, or that have gone on in the past week or two. So Lafayette, finally, the mayor president, Monique Boulay, has said it's cheaper to settle with the lunatics than it is to defend against them, even though even though the city would have crushed them in court, because being disruptive in a public meeting is not a First Amendment right. They're saying all this stuff like the judge said. The judge didn't say anything. The judge says, I have a settlement offer. I'll sign the settlement offer. Cheaper than paying lawyers. By the way, their settlement amount is also cheaper than tapping someone's bumper in the local Target parking lot. So they're big. Woo, we won. Congratulations, guys. Now, go away. Not likely. Then Livingston Parish, you're aware of this. We had a tremendous victory. So, by the way, Lafayette is a victory because the nuts are gone. They didn't get anything other than the settlement offer is they're not going to read the statute on disturbing the peace in the public board meetings. So instead, they're going to read what the parish council reads, which is effectively the same thing. They just don't cite the statute number. A victory. Livingston Parish. This just happened. This is last week. So 6 months ago, the parish council, was it Ricky Goff, in his infinite wisdom, decided he was going to wipe the board because the board is the problem. My good friend Michelle Parrish, the library director, there's no reason why any of this. Never mind, he didn't pay attention to any of the details, but he convinced the parish council to fire the entire library board to protect Michelle Parrish. 6 months ago, December-ish. The new library board comes in. The very first thing on the agenda, surprise, was to approve the contract for the library, or the head librarian, Michelle Parrish. At the time, the then board president said, it's probably not smart to have our board members vote to approve a contract for someone whom we just met. So we're going to delay this 6 months. We're going to bring it back. It'll be on the agenda. We'll set it now. 6 months from now, the contract will come up for renewal. Okay. So now all the wokies are, oh no, we had no idea. You knew 6 months coming that this was happening. And I have to tell you, I knew 6 months ago when I saw the council meeting, or the library board meeting, this was going to happen. So Michelle Parrish, the woke library director, who actually gave us a lot of trouble, is now gone. We did public records requests. She had blocked us from their Facebook. Not that we ever went on their Facebook, but they blocked us from their Facebook. We did a records request asking for any records of anyone blocked on their Facebook. They responded none. I went and checked them, not blocked. I go back the next week and I'm blocked again. See, that's the kind of stuff she was doing. She was manipulating the budget, doing all kinds of stuff. Anyway, doesn't matter. She's gone. Now, so we have Lafayette is under control. We have Livingston now under control. They're going to hire a new director. Jonathan Davis, whom I know for years now, good guy. He's kind of playing a little footsie with the liberals, or the leftists. I would do things differently, but we'll see how it goes. So, Jonathan, if you're watching, hey man, close the door, brother. Anyway, moving on to St. Tammany Parish. On July the 10th, it's been a little while ago now, there was a public meeting. They had 2 openings on their library board of control. And so, I say openings, they come up for reappointment every so often. They had 2 apparently at one time that came up. And it's worth listening to some of the people that showed up to have their say, because I think, let's look at the statistical data. We have in St. Tammany Parish, by the way, I downloaded this off of the Secretary of State's website. You can go get it yourself. Go vote, GEAUX, vote.com. And you go to the statistical data, and you can download by parish. This is St. Tammany Parish, statistical data. And I'm going to let you know that only 21% of the parish are registered Democrats. Isn't that interesting? Why am I talking about this? The parish council, I pulled the parish council members. There are 14 parish council members. 13 of them are Republicans. 1 is a Democrat. 7% of the parish council is Democrat. And yet, at this library appointment meeting, the Democrats, of all people, got the appointment instead of the Republicans. Isn't that interesting? Check this out. I'm going to set the groundwork here with the Republican position on what the party thinks are the best people for the job. So let's check it out.
Iris Gallatin. I really won't say a whole lot because there's been a lot said before me, but I think it's your duty, since a majority of the taxpayers are conservative, and that typically means Republican. For you, it would be important for you to appoint Jill Kessler. She's done an outstanding job, as well as Glenn Baham. They're both conservative people. They will do a good job with the Library Board of Control and make sure that the library is managed in a way that is consistent with the values of this parish. Thank you.
So that was Miss Iris Gallatin, pretty much just saying things that you and I would agree with, or actually anyone in the room. Effectively, we just want a safe space for our kids to show up, and we don't want to be surprised and have to be on our guard while we're in the public library with our kids, right? Easy. No one would disagree with that. No one that I know of. Now, again, I said Republican position. Generally, you can you can perceive who is the conservative in these board meetings by who doesn't use their entire 3 minutes and actually get their mic turned off. So her speech, very short. Another very short speech was the Republican Parish Executive Committee Chairwoman. Check this one out.
Susan Willey, RPAC Chair. I'm just up here to once again ask you all to consider Mr. Glenn Baham and Ms. Jill Kessler. We, from the RPAC board, it's not just about politics. It's about principles and values of what needs to be done correctly for our kids that do enter into the library, that it's a safe haven for them and an enjoyable experience for the parents when they do bring their kids to the library.
So there she is, Susan Willey, and let me read this. So in fact, the previous person who spoke, Miss Iris, also said that the positions that the people that she supports for the two opening positions were Glenn Baham and Jill Kessler. So we have established now the Republican Party, and by the way, the Republican women also showed up, the Republican Women's Club, same. So I'm going to skip that one just because we've got, it's going to be a long video already. But we've established who are the conservative applicants to the library board in a 93% supposedly Republican conservative majority on the council. Those are the two folks. All right, so we're going to skip. I like to skip to the end of the vote and show you that it went great, but it didn't. The Democrats actually got a victory. Listen, though, we've established, okay, the parish council now knows the Republican position. They all profess to be Republicans. Now listen to the Democrats.
Hi, Becky Baum. I just would like to support Ms. Thanners. I have to say. But, I am tired of getting called a pervert, a pedophile, a groomer.
There she is. Becky Baum is actually one of the folks that is feared, I guess. I don't know, feared. She assaults our Christian friends in St. Tammany Parish and gives them a hard time and like physically altercation kind of stuff, fisticuffs. So she shows up and she tells you who she supports, Ms. Thanars, who is the Democrat running to stay on the library board. But what's interesting is she starts laughing. No one asked her a question. I mean, maybe someone behind her said something, but she starts laughing, and then she says she is not those words that I probably shouldn't say on camera because, people get in trouble for saying words like that. But she called herself those things and said she's not those things. It's just very interesting, kind of that Freudian slip thing again. She's not the only one to do that, by the way. That's what's so curious. I support this person, and I am not a fill in the blank. Watch this next one. This is going to blow your mind. This one, I should probably save to the end, but I'm going to put it right here in the middle because this one will shock you. Check this out.
My name is Susan Frazier. I'm an RN, retired school teacher, public school teacher, science, master's in education, and I would like to support the candidacy of Diana Thanars. and you do not teach kids how to have critical reasoning skills by shielding them from anything that may be a little different, a little foreign to the belief system of the parents. Banning books is never on the right side of history, ever on the right side of history. Do the right thing here. Embrace the diversity of our community, a community I've been in for about 30 years now. Yes, we are here and we are staying. We are diverse, and we want to embrace your children and have them learn the critical thinking skills by being exposed to that diversity. Thank you.
Shocking stuff, shocking stuff. Let me read you that last part again, because I'm struggling really to wrap my head around what this school teacher, by the way, school teacher had to say. She says, embrace the diversity of our community, a community I've been in 30 years, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we're here and we're staying. You remember that slogan, we're here, we're queer, and we're in your face? You remember that? You remember that? That sounds just like that. And then she says, we are diverse, which I've found is a code word for these people that want these vulgar books in the kids section. They use diversity. They want to diversify the children's section with vulgar content. We're diverse. We want to embrace your children and have them learn the critical thinking skills of being exposed to that diversity. Exposed. Some other things. I took some notes while she was chatting. School teacher. Hello. Who are your children listening to? Well, they're in school 8 hours a day. Well, maybe not 8, but they're in school for hours a day listening to people that say we're not going to shield them from beliefs that their parents don't agree with. That sounds very nefarious. Book banning, never the right side of history, standard language. Next thing you know, she'll be calling people Nazis. She may have, just not on this video. But we have someone else doing that in a minute, by the way. Embrace the diversity. We are diverse. We want to embrace your children. Shocking stuff. By the way, who are we talking about here? So this was, and I pulled, we have a little dossier we keep on the local activists. We have the first woman in pink who was laughing that she is not a beep, fill in the blank. That is Rebecca Boehm. Oh, Becky Boehm, I think they called her or something. She is not registered to a political party that we can tell, but she has adult children in her household who are registered Democrat. And who is this? This is Susan Fryer. Let's see if I have her. I'm sure I do. I mean, we always check these people out. Oh, here she is. Susan Gay Fryer. Oh, Lord help us. And she is registered Democrat. Surprise! All right, so let's continue. By the way, she supports theirs. Remember, that supports theirs. Let's keep moving.
Good evening. My name is Roxanne Newman. I came here tonight to speak in favor of Ms. Thanars. I'm a little offended by the comments of the person who preceded me in referring to normal board members and normal children. This library system is for all children, including children who are not so-called normal. Normal is a spectrum. And so to refer to normal people being on the board or normal children is quite offensive to those of us who are parents of children who might not fall within those parameters.
Roxanne, normal is a spectrum, Roxanne says. Let's check our dossier. Let's see, what do we have here? Roxanne Newman. St. Tammany Parish. Registered Democrat. Surprise! All right. She supports Ms. Thanars to be on the library board, another registered Democrat. Never mind that 93% of the parish council are Republican. Never mind only 7% are Democrats, and only 21% of the entire parish are Democrats. Never mind, that's beside the point. What is important is we need diversity. You see. Let me let her finish her thought, because check it out.
And I'd like to point out that when we were here last month, I believe it was Mr. Rolling who admonished the other board members that they shouldn't be appointing library board members based on their political affiliation. And so to have a series of people come before you and say that they think people should be appointed because they're conservative, I think is reprehensible.
There she is, by the way. Roxanne is offended that we would want to put, that Republicans would want to put conservative Republicans on the board. Offended. And Mr. Rolling, Larry Rolling, by the way, Parish Council District 2, who is registered as a Republican, says we shouldn't consider party as a prerequisite for that. And yet, he's not registered as no party to run for Parish Council. He's registered as a Republican. Well, why would he do that? Probably because he couldn't get elected to Parish Council unless he's registered Republican. You would think they would know that's a big deal because they themselves are participating in the process. Now, if they're not a Republican, they certainly can follow their heart to the Democratic Party, which apparently at least 8 of them need to do. But anyway, let's continue down. And I know this is getting a little long, but let's continue because these are fun to listen to. So you know what these people are really thinking. Check this one out. They don't get any better.
Lisa Rustemeyer, Mandeville. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for listening to us again. I'm going to echo what Roxanne just said about Ms. Thanar's continuing to serve. The extreme end of the conservative movement is keen on censorship. It's right out of the Nazi playbook.
There it is. A bunch of Nazis. But oh Lord, you're censoring the books. But there's no pornography in the library. But you're censoring the books. But there's no pornography in the library. But you're censoring the books. You're a Nazi. I'm telling y'all, I know you think that this is all a bunch of foolishness. These folks are every day, this is all they think about. Lisa Rustmeyer, registered Democrat. Look at this conga line of these folks. Now this last one actually broke in. I say broke in. We have meetings. We call them secret lunch. And they're so secret. They're so very, shh, don't tell anybody. We post them on social media and invite the public. So she snuck into one of our public meetings and recorded it. And she said, man, these conservatives are, they said some pretty nefarious things. She recorded it. She could tell you what we said. She didn't say anything. She just says she recorded it like that's a big accomplishment. Anyway, this is her. It's Jamie, what's her name? Jamie Segura. I had to finish with this one because this one's probably the best one of the bunch. Yeah, check it out.
This is ridiculous that you allow people to come up here and go on and on and on about the terrible books in the library. I'm going to tell you right now that, number one, I came up to speak on behalf of Miss Dinah Thanars. Hear him laughing? I'm not a pedophile. I'm a tax-paying American. But I am tired of this council demonizing tax-paying citizens of this community because we might be, well, let's say lesbian. We are not pedophiles. We are not groomers. We're taxpayers. Yeah, maybe a Democrat.
There she is. Jamie Segura. I was going to tell you from our little dossier that she's a Democrat, but apparently I don't need to do that because she fessed up. There we are. And then, of course, we have Diana Thanars, who we all know is Democrat because she is. But there that is again. The Freudian slip. I am not a fill in the blank, that word that gets people in trouble. So the Freudian slips continue. They are not those words, and they are not after your, there's no way they're after your children. No way at all. But they want you to appoint this Democrat to the board. Now, how did the vote go? Let's do that. I'm not going to play the video because it's actually quite long. They carry on for a while. So let's look at, I'm going to rattle off the names and how they voted because I took notes. So let's go through this real quick. I'm just going to hit on the folks. Let's just do it. Ms. Thanars, the voters were Ricky Smith, Republican, voted for the Democrat. Larry Rowling, the guy who says we shouldn't take party into consideration or conservative or liberal. We shouldn't consider any of that stuff. We should just pick, I don't know. So if you don't consider whether they're conservative or leftist leaning and they want vulgar books in the library, what do you make your decision on? I don't know. Larry Rowling made his decision. That was Ms. Thanars, the Democrat. Martha Cazalan, I never mess up these names. We're from French Louisiana. I'm not good on all of them. She voted for Ms. Thanars. Kathy Seiden was apparently absent. Pat Phillips was there. Pat voted correctly for both Republicans. Cheryl Tanner, Republican, voted for Ms. Thanars. Joe Impastato voted Thanars. Then we had Pat Burke, David Kugel, Mo O'Brien, and Arthur Laughlin all voted correctly for the Republican. Then we had Jerry Binder, we had who voted for the Thanars Democrat. Jeff Corbin, who we all know should really follow his heart to the Democratic Party because he's literally doing all the Democrat things, voted for the Democrat. And then Gumby Strickland, whoever Gumby Strickland is, voted for the Democrat Thanars. So that's it. That's the vote. That's what happened. Well, that's it, y'all. What's going on? You got 3 library issues. The one in Lafayette, we're victorious because we don't have to deal with these idiots anymore. They're going away. Number 2, we have Livingston, where the director is gone. Bye-bye. And then we have St. Tammany, which is still, we still have the director there who's been battling against this for some years now, since the very beginning, very early on in the process. She's managed to hang on. Perhaps if we, now that we have a little bit more free time, now that Lafayette is stable, Livingston is stable, off to St. Tammany. All right, well, see y'all in St. Tammany soon.